What's up, guys? Welcome back to another two-box nickel hunt on my channel, Mo Hunt Silver. This is going to be boxes 48 and 49 of the series, and this is episode number 32. We only have 15 more spots left to fill in our Jefferson nickel albums, and we still have quite a bit of work to do in the Buffalo nickel album. But I'm hoping we can find some more spot fillers for our albums here. So we're going to be looking for any kind of Jefferson nickels, 1960 and older, Buffalo nickels, V nickels, proof nickels, or and foreigns, I guess, or anything else cool that we can come across. So these two boxes are circulated that I have in front of me, and box number 48 is going to have one ender, and box number 49 will have two enders. So we know we have at least those three finds for the hunt. So yeah, I'm going to move these boxes to the side, and I'm going to hunt 10 rolls and come back with a recap after each 10 rolls, um, as far or as long as we go through the hunt. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope we find some cool stuff. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit that thumbs up. All right, so let's get into it. And I'll be back after I hunt through rolls 1 through 10. Or if I find anything else, sweet. All right, guys, the first 10 rolls of the hunt, we're going to start us off with 6 pre-1960 Jefferson nickels. We do have a 1946, and that one's going to be out of Philly, not a Henning. Then we have two 1947s. Both of those are going to be Philadelphia's. And then we had a 1955, which is going to be a Denver example. And then a 1956, and I forget, that's going to be a Denver as well. And then a 1959, which is also a Denver. All right, so we'll move on to the second set of 10 rolls. 10 roll set number 2 is going to give us 4 more pre-60s Jefferson nickels. We did get 2 more 1955 Denvers. Then we got a 1957 Philly and a 1958 out of Denver. All pretty common, but we'll move on to set number 3. I'm bringing you guys back in on roll number 22. I didn't see this one by the edge, but as the coin slid down as I was going through them, this one right here looks like it might have the silver look to it. It definitely looks a lot different shaded than the other nickels. So let's slide this down. And yes, sir, we do have a silver wartime nickel. This is 35% silver. And that's going to be a 43 Philly. So we can check that under the scope here to see if it is the possible 3/2, which I don't see there, or the doubled I, which I'm also not seeing. But that's pretty sweet, because these were only produced for a few years, 1942 to 1945. But, all right, we got silver for the hunt. 10 roll set number 3 is going to give us another 6 pre-1960 Jefferson nickels. Up top here, we're going to have 2 from 1940. One is going to be a Philadelphia, and this one over here is going to be a Denver. And then we had 3 from the 50s, 1951, and that is going to be a Denver, slightly lower minted. Then a 1954 out of Denver, and a 1957 out of Philly. And then the find for this 10 roll set is going to be our silver, 1943, Philadelphia. So that's pretty sweet. And we'll move on to set number 4. And just like that, we're back, guys. This is roll number 31. So first roll out of set number 4. I just laid out the coins here and slid them down, and I saw this right here. So now we're going to have a Buffalo nickel in this box, and this was 1 coin away from being an ender. So let's see what we got in here. And that's going to be a Philadelphia minted. Does look pretty good on the reverse as well. There's a partial horn there. All right, well, let's see what we have on the obverse. What is the date? And that's going to be a 1936 out of Philly. Pretty common one, but that's awesome. We got a Buffalo. All right, now we just need a V-nickel or a proof to make a trifecta. 10 roll set number 4 is going to finish us out with 2 finds. And our first one is going to be a 1940, and I think this was out of Philly. Yeah, 1940 Philadelphia. And then our oldest for the hunt so far, 1936 Philadelphia Buffalo nickel. Not in bad shape either. All right, that's pretty sweet. So we'll move on to the last 10 roll set of this box. And I'll be right back as soon as I have the 10 rolls hunted or I find something else sweet. All right, guys, the last 10 rolls of this box are going to finish us out with only one find. It's going to be a 1947, and it's out of Philly. And I guess we'll just do a quick wrap up for the box. So this box is going to give us a total of, I believe that is, let's see, 6, 7, 8 from the 40s. And then we have a total of 10 from the 50s. And then our finds for this box are going to be our 2 finds down here, which are a 1943 Philadelphia, 35% silver wartime nickel, and a 1936 Philadelphia Buffalo in decent shape. So we can move on to box number 49, and I'll be right back as soon as I have the first 10 rolls of that box hunted, or we have something sweet. 10 roll set number 6 is going to start us off with 8 finds in box number 2. And we got a few oldies here, guys. We got a 1938. That's going to be a first-year Jefferson. It is a Philadelphia, so it's not one of the key date mint marks, but still a pretty rare nickel in circulation. Not easy to find. And then we have 2 1939 Philadelphias. Neither one are the Henning nickels or the DDR. Then we got 1 from the 40s, the 1946. Not a Henning. It is a Philly. And then we got 4 from the 50s, 1952 Philly, 1953 Denver, and I believe this one's a 54. Yep, that's a Philly. And then 1957, which is also a Philly. So not a bad start for box number 2. And we can move on to 10 roll set number 7 of the hunt. And we do have an ender right there. I believe that one's pretty old. It looks pretty worn. So we'll have to see what the date of that one is once we crack into it, but I'll be right back. Set number 7 is going to give us 6 more pre-60s Jefferson nickels. We're going to have a 1940. This one's out of Denver. And we have a 1941 Philly, a 1947 Philly, and then 2 1948s. And then we have 1 from the 50s, and that's going to be a 1957 out of Denver. All right, so we'll move on to set number 8. We have another ender, I believe, right there. Oh, and the ender that we had in this set was the 1947 that was reverse facing. All right, well, let's get into set 8. Just hunting through roll number 22 of box number 2 of this hunt, guys, and I had to bring you guys back in. We have something very sweet right here. This is a 2004 Philadelphia, and it is the Louisiana Purchase or Peace Nickel. And if you guys know, there is a sweet DDO you can find on this nickel. I'm going to put this one under the scope so you guys can see it. And I did enlarge my scope. But you can see there's a lot of extra thickness on the date, on the mint mark, on Liberty, and also on Trust of the motto here of the coin. And this is going to be the FS 101. for the peace nickel. And if I flip it over to the reverse, this is going to be the stage E. And our two die markers, we have a little dot above the P in purchase right there. You guys can see it. And then there's also a die chip on the cuff right below the U of United, right there. And if you go to Variety Vista, which I'm going to do right now, right here's our listing. And I can scroll down. And you guys can see the doubling on the date, the mint mark. But we have all the way down at the bottom down here, there's like 4 or 5 different stages of it. We're going to have the stage C example, which you mainly just see thickness on the letters and the date. But you have your 2 die markers, which are your dot above the P and the die chip on the cuff. This example that I have found is actually, if not mint state, very, very close to being mint state. And this would actually hold a pretty good value. I believe in a mint state. Let me go to PCGS real quick. We go over here. The double die in a mint state 63 is about $200, and a 64 is about $250. So I don't know if this will get that great if I would send it in, but it would be pretty close. So that's a pretty valuable nickel right there. Very great find for this hunt. And oh, I just saw we have a Canadian right here as well, 1994. So that's going to be our first foreign for the hunt as well. Awesome. Huh. Find things you're not even looking for them. All right, we'll keep moving. Set number 8 is going to give us 9 total finds. We did find a second Canadian nickel in this 10 roll set. So we do have a 2000 and a 1994 right there. We found 3 from the 40s, 2 1941 Philadelphias, and then a 1941 from San Francisco. So that's pretty sweet. And then we're going to have 3 Denver minted 50s nickels here of 1953. That's kind of hard to read. 1957 and a 1959. And then the find of this 10 roll set is going to be our 2004 Philadelphia piece nickel here with the FS 101 DDO. So that's pretty awesome. All right, we'll move on to set number 9 and see what we can find in this one. 10 roll set number 9 is going to give us 6 more pre-60s Jefferson nickels. We did have another 1939 Philadelphia. This one's in a bit better shape. And it's not the DDR. Then we had 2 more 1941 Philadelphias. 1942 non-silver. And this is a Philadelphia. But this one I thought was pretty neat because we have a nice lamination right here above the building. It's a pretty good one right there. Not bad on that. Then we had a 1946. That's a Philly, not a Henning. And a 1957, which I believe, yep, that's out of Philly as well. So not too bad. And we can move on to our last 10 roll set of the hunt and see what this one's going to give us. First roll of the last 10 roll set of this hunt. And we're going to have our second silver for the hunt. First one of this box. This one's a pretty worn 1945. But we do have some more 35% silver here. And it's a Philly. Pretty common one. Definitely don't need it for the book, but we'll take it for the hunt. That's awesome. All right. Well, this box is definitely going to finish strong because I'm only 2 rolls after our silver nickel. And now we're going to have another buffalo. So now we'll have the second buffalo for the hunt. First one for this box. And this one is just barely going to have a date on it, it looks like. Try to get a little closer, but That is going to be a 1923 from what I can see there. You look at it here. Yeah. 1923. Let's see if it has a mint mark. And it does not. So that'll be a 23 Philly. Not sure if we need that one for the book, but we'll find out in just a couple minutes here. All right, nice. So now we got a Buffalo in this box, and then this one here looked like it was kind of older. Denver mint mark, and we have a 1953. Okay, so yeah, a Buffalo and a 53 in that roll so far. Yep. That's not bad. The last 10 rolls of this hunt are going to finish us out pretty strong. We had a total of 10 finds, giving us an average of one find per roll in these last 10 rolls. And 2 of the finds were pretty freaking sweet. So I'll just get into what we got here. We got another 1939. It's a Philadelphia, not a Henning. We did get 3 from the 40s. 1941. I believe that one's a Philly. Oh, no, it's a Denver. Then we got a 1947, which was also a Denver, and a 1949, which I believe is a Philadelphia. Yes. And then we got 4 from the 50s, a 1952, which is a Philly, a 1953, which was a Denver. Then we had a 1955, which is a Denver, and a 1958, that is a Philadelphia. So that one's a slightly harder one to find. Pretty cool. It is kind of worn, though. And then the 2 finds of these 10 rolls. We did have a Buffalo nickel, 1923 out of Philly, and a second silver for the hunt, 1945 out of Philly. So to finish out box number 2 of this hunt, we are going to have a total of 5 from the 30s, one of them being a 1938 Philly, 17 total from the 40s, 13 from the 50s, our 1 Buffalo nickel, our 1 silver. We did have 2 Canadian foreigns, and our 2004 Philadelphia DDO. So that's going to do it for box number 2 of the hunt. I'll get everything together for a full wrap up, and we can see if anything is going to add to the album. As I'm back for a quick wrap up of this 2-box hunt, we had quite a few finds on the board here. We have a total of 58, giving us an average of 29 per box. So that's not too bad. That's pretty good. As you can see, we have quite a few nickels up here on the mat. So I'll just get into what we got here real quick. We did get our 2 foreigns, both the Canadians, out of box number 2. All of our 30s nickels, which we have 5 of them, also came out of box number 2. And then as far as our 40s go, we had a total of 25. And 50s, we had a total of 23. We did find 2 Buffalo nickels for the hunt and 2 silvers that can go in the jar, because I don't believe we need either one of those for the album. And then definitely our find of the hunt right here is our 2004 piece nickel, the FS 101, and it is a stage E. So that is the late stage die for that one right there. And I also did pull out a bunch of nicer looking nickels of all different years to compare to the albums, which we're going to do right now. And we're going to see if we can add anything to these books. So let me do that real quick, and I will be right back and show you guys if and what progress we made. And we're back after checking the albums, and I will say this was another great nickel hunt because we had silver and buffaloes, but we also had 2 more additions to the book. That'll now put us up to 181 spots out of a possible 194 out of our Jefferson nickel albums to fill. And our 2 additions for today were the 1979 Denver and the 1997 Denver, both more modern Jefferson nickels. And our upgrade was the 1969 San Francisco, which I will show you guys right now. This guy right here is the one that was in the slot. And as you can see, today's example looks a bit more shiny and has more detail. Because this one here, even on the reverse, looks kind of rough. So it's good we can replace that one. And then here's our 1979 Denver. You can see that one looks pretty good that we slotted today. And the 1997 Denver right there. So we finally found two more modern Jefferson nickels that are actually in good shape. Good enough, I feel, to put in the book. So we still have a couple more modern ones we got to do yet. But I'm sure we will eventually come across those nickels that we need. Plus the older ones, because I did make a list. And this is what is still needed as far as empty slots in our albums here. So some of these up here are going to be pretty tough, but I should be able to come across these bottom ones fairly quick, I would imagine. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Nickel Hunt and Fill series. The last thing I have to do now is take our two wartime nickels that we found today, and we can add them into our jar. So that thing is starting to look pretty nice. It's getting pretty full, but we are also getting close to the end of the year. So I'm hoping I can do a couple more $50 and quarter hunts, and we can fill that jar up some more yet. That would be great. But like I said, that's going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate every single one that I get. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching. So have a good one, guys. We'll see you on the next one.